bolt here that presses against the crankshaft and pulls the case away. So that's how it works. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you've enjoyed the latest content with Nixon getting his new bike and us ripping around. It's been really fun to make. I'm so glad it's riding season again. I'm off the snowmobile, unfortunately, but I'm on the next best thing, the dirt bike. Maybe I shouldn't say it that way. I think dirt bikes are awesome, but I don't know which is better, to be honest. I like them both. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed that content. If you have, please give me a like and comment below. Do you like the riding videos better? Do you like the shop videos better? I'm kind of curious because for some reason my last riding video got a ton of views, like super fast. So, and to all the new subscribers that have joined my channel, welcome. It seems like it's growing pretty fast. I'm really excited. And please share. It helps me out a lot. And leave some comments. It's the YouTube algorithm is crazy. It's always changing and it relies heavily on comments. So please leave me a comment. I would really appreciate it. And I really do love answering you guys' questions and talking with you about things. And it's fun. It's fun to communicate. So as you can see, I have moved my workbench over against the wall, and I think I like that layout a little bit better. I did have it out here in the middle, but it was just kind of like, I just feel like I'd wasted space over there. So I did move everything over here. Now, right now I don't have anything put away in baggies. I need to do that real quick, get this bench cleared off so we can finish the bottom end on the KTM 125 motor. I'm really excited to do this. I've been procrastinating it, being that I've been working on Nixon's little bike and been riding and just been busy with other things. So I do work full time and I do try to do YouTube on the side. So it's a lot. It's a lot to do. My bottom end rebuild kit does not have bearings for the rest of the case. The only thing it comes with are the bearings for the crankshaft. So I can get the crank bearings out fine and reinstall the new ones without bothering these, but I'm like, man, do I do it? Do I just take every bearing out, or do I just replace the crank bearings? I think I'm just going to go with just the crank bearings. Being that this motor has such low hours and looks so great, I think I'm just going to go back with the main crank bearings. I'll quit talking. Let me get this bench cleaned up, and we will tear the bottom end apart on this motor. Alright guys, now this tool that I'm going to use to split the cases is made by Tusk. This is a crankcase splitter. I don't really know if you could actually get a set of cases apart without a crankcase splitter, without damaging something or, you know, causing yourself a bunch of headaches. So definitely invest in one of these if you are planning on doing your own motor rebuilds. But basically what this does is this presses on the crank and pulls on the case, so that way you can separate the two. Okay, before I go on, I realized on this side when I went to find a threaded port or a threaded hole for my my puller threads here, none of these are the same as the 8mm bolts that this is. This is standard across the board. It fits in every other hole around the case except for everything in this flywheel side. So I am going to actually pull the crank from the other side, which is no problem. Alright guys, got the crank puller or the case splitter on here, and we're going to give her the old college try, see if it comes apart. Okay, so really though, how this works is you've got your crankshaft right there, you've got the splitter right here, and you've got your three arms. You want to position them fairly evenly around, and then you've got your bolt here that presses against the crankshaft and pulls the case away. So that's how it works. And you just want to be very, I guess, to be spread out really well in that general area, so that when you're pulling it evenly. You definitely don't want to tweak or bind the case up, because you are separating the actual crank from the bearing, and if you get the bearing on a bind when you're trying to separate it, it's never going to pop loose. So let's do it. Okay. And that's it. We are already split. Now we're just going to walk this off, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pay attention to the back side of the case to make sure that I don't get it in a bind. Alright, now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take my case splitter off, and we are going to separate our cases. I want to do it laying down on its side, that way I don't have the transmission just fall out in a bunch of pieces, because if I keep it on this stand, I'm going to have some problems. Alright, now this should come off pretty simply. The only thing that I think is going to give me, oh, there we go. I was going to say might give me an issue would have been that shift drum, but that seems to be coming out fine. I know this is coming off fine, so we should be able to lift it right out. I may have a couple washers fall too, but we will see. Yeah, there's a washer falling right there, which is fine. Alright, there we go. Now, right here, this shaft came out too, and this is part of the transmission, so it actually goes right in there, but not a big deal. So, if you guys remember on my previous video where we worked on the KTM motor, where we pulled it apart, there were the shift linkage was broken, and the stopper arm was broken, and the little bearings had fallen apart into the motor. So, but I can't find any in there. So it has had an oil change or two since that happened, and there are no more bearings left in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and remove these. Ooh, they are not coming out. Okay, I already tried that one. This one's not coming out. So in that case, I'm just gonna leave them. I'm just going to leave them, not worry about it. Go ahead and remove my gasket here. It's coming off real easy, which is nice. Oh, knock on wood. This motor has been unbelievably nice to work on. And I'm judging by me taking this apart right now, this is definitely the first rebuild. Definitely the first rebuild on this motor. Now you want to take out this little rubber, I don't know what you call it. It's just I don't know. It's a separator for the case halves, but it's just rubber, just a little rubber guy, goes right in there. And that's the last thing you want to forget when you go back in too with your motor. So don't forget you have it. Okay, now last but not least, as for getting the crank out of the other side, I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to just tap it out using a hammer, and hopefully we can do this successfully without any issues. Okay, I debated with myself for a minute after I talked on the camera last, and I decided to go a different method. I'm going to go ahead and thread this nut back on here, and I'm just going to see if I can tap it out of the bearing. Being that it was so loose on the other side, I'm hoping that it's that loose on this side, and I can just take this hammer, rest it up against here, hit the backside of it and probably knock it just right out of that bearing without any heat or anything. This is kind of wishful thinking, but I'm going to see if it works. If it works, it works. If it don't, then I can move on to the other methods. You know, just go from there. That's all you can do. You can only try it and see what happens. So we'll just give her a couple light taps and just see if we can get it to separate. If it does, sweet. Okay, believe it or not, it's actually working. If you can see right here, it's separating no problem. So once again, pretty happy. Okay, and just like that, and I don't think I damaged anything. At least I hope I didn't, but I'm gonna keep this crank anyway. Okay, we are completely separated, and there we are. All right, guys, there we go. We've got our case halves split. They look super clean. Didn't find nothing sketchy about any of that. Got our transmission sitting here. The transmission looks amazing. The gears look great. Nothing's rounded off. Nothing's wore out. So that makes me super happy. Thrilled about that. Shift forks look great. No issues there. What you want to look for on those is just kind of tapering and wear right here on the end of the forks, which we don't see any at all, so that's good. They look amazing. So yeah, pretty simple once you're inside. The funny thing about it is everybody thinks that you know, the inside of your 2-stroke motor, or 4-stroke for that matter, is very complicated, but once you actually get it apart and you can see, hey, all you got is a shift drum here, you got a couple bolts, some forks, some transmission, and that's basically the internals of the actual crankcase. Now, all the external stuff, all of the, you know, I don't know what you want to call it, auxiliary stuff, flywheel, you know, shifting mechanism, all that stuff, that's a little more complicated, but for the most part, everything else is pretty simple. Keep your tranny together, do yourself a favor and not separate your tranny, because these gears can be very confusing to get back together. But other than that, you know, simple, super simple. All right, guys, I think I'm going to close this one out here. A couple things that I want to talk about regarding the motor here is we did use a couple unconventional methods, using, you know, a hammer to kind of knock it out and everything. But the reality of it is if it makes sense to do it, then do it. If it's a lot harder than it has to be, maybe you're doing something wrong. This motor just happened to be super easy. Everything was fairly loose in there and come apart with no issue. So yeah, I was super thrilled with it. Takeaways from it are basically that it's going to go back together as easy as it come apart, and it's going to be super clean, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, if you guys have never tore apart a motor, don't be intimidated by it. Just go for it. Just go for it. Film the process. Make sure you know where all your parts go and everything like that, and you can't go wrong. So, yep, KTM motor is tore down. We're going to send the parts off and get them vapor honed and get them cleaned up. And I like the anodized cases. I'm going to go ahead and go back with them, and we're not going to do anything with them. We're just going to keep them stock form. Get our external parts, our cylinder, our exhaust valve cover, all that stuff, vapor honed, and it'll look better than new. So coming along, for those of you that stuck around, thank you. I have a surprise, not really a surprise, but something cool I'm going to show you real fast. Okay, see that box right there? We've got a truing stand to build our wheels. So I was talking earlier in a couple videos that I was going to get brand new wheel sets, but I've decided I'm going to powder coat the hubs, and I'm going to get new wheels and spokes, and we're going to rebuild our own wheels. It makes sense. It's super easy to do, and we're gonna take it on. Okay, guys, thanks again. Please give me a like, comment down below what you think of this build, and yeah, we'll keep on plugging away at it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.